Hey folks, it's Vienna. I am overdue to make a VT log because Michelle Santiago was not in Germany to put a camera in my face backstage at some concert venue and say like, hey, you should provide an update, go. So a few weeks now, I guess, after coming home from Germany, here's an update. The tour was amazing. So thank you to everybody who came out. Couple of highlights. Let's see. Hamburg was the first show and it was just like on fire. Like from the first moment I walked on stage, I'm like, who are all these people and why are they so excited? So thank you for the amazing welcome back to Europe and to playing shows across a language barrier, at least for me, because it seems like most of y'all are fluent in English in addition to like 3 other languages other than German. So it was super cool to play those shows and to do these like solo request, build the set list together shows for the first time over there. Super fun and got definitely some deep cut requests. I remember a lot of people called stuff out from Dreaming Through the Noise, which was super fun. So I got to play Love Turns 40 and Pontchartrain and I Don't Feel So Well. Which I don't think I've done that often in solo sort of impromptu shows. So thank you for that. And also got to play St. Stephen's Cross and Signal Fire, which is a unrecorded song that I wrote way back in college, my pretentious prog rock epic that I never quite got it together to be good enough to sing and perform and play on the piano to put on an album. But maybe I'll record it at some point soon. More to say on that. So let's see, what were some other highlights? Scala Club in Leverkusen outside of Cologne, Dusseldorf area. That was just insane. The energy that came from the audience that night. That was super, super fun. I also appreciated that Fabrice, I think, hopefully I'm not messing up his name, he is the proprietor and main kind of warm greeting, helping out with everything guy. But he had an amazing sign backstage in both English and German about please being gentle with the plumbing. And he said, you're a resident janitor. And he signed his name. I was like, oh, isn't that the guy who owns the club? So I just love that there are these music venues who are booked and managed and lovingly cared for in all kinds of ways by the people who run them. Also remember talking to a lot of awesome staff and crew at the Jazz House in Freiburg. They're a really special bunch. And one guy in particular came up to me and he said, I just wanted to say that like we normally have jazz here, which is my thing. And this was really different and really great. And it just felt really special. So that meant a lot as someone who sees a lot of shows and generally is into like a different genre of music. And so it was just really wonderful. What were some other highlights? Leipzig at a Kupfersaal. That was really, really awesome. And I have to give props to everyone who showed up that night because here's a story from the promoter that I heard via my tour manager, Udo. He said that he was pretty worried about how that show was doing about a month and a half out because they'd only sold, a few tickets or like not enough to really fill the room and for them to kind of make their money back. So they were a little bit concerned. But the room was packed. And not only that, I think about 50 of you showed up the day of the show and bought tickets at the door, which he'd just never seen before. And so I don't know what was going on out there in the word of mouth networks of Germany, but thank you for showing up and making that night so special. It was a really, really fun night in a really beautiful place. And let's see, what were some other ones? There was a really fun show in München. There's a tiny little jazz club that it just feels so good and the piano is so awesome and they did an amazing job live streaming the show. And that was just an awesome atmosphere. It felt kind of like a house concert because there were people literally sitting kind of on stage, sort of just a few feet away from me, kind of behind the piano, and there were people right up against the stage. So it was really like being in someone's living room that had a bar in the corner and like a Bösendorfer piano. So, so it was just really, really special. I feel like that night just felt really cozy, like we were just kind of all in this thing together. And a couple of non-show shout outs. First, to Udo Milde, my wonderful tour manager. I think I'm going to post something, my ode to Udo, pretty soon. But basically, he and I have done a number of tours together, but always when I had a trio or a quartet. And this was really the first time we were just like in a van together, you know, driving across Germany, just having conversations. And I learned things about this wonderful man that I never knew before, even though we first met almost 20 years ago. So it was really special that I got to do that tour with him, and really special that we got to put on shows for you together. So that was great. Also shout out to Micha Schaefer and his wife Mijung and his daughter Anna for hosting me and Jacob and Arcadia in Karlsruhe. This was a really great way for us to incorporate family touring, because we made Karlsruhe our home base for several days and went out and played shows every day. But we were able to come home to the same lovely place with a wonderful host kid who was only a year older than Arcadia, and magically summoned all these like English phrases that her parents didn't even know she knew, in order to welcome Arcadia and to play with her. So that was just super cool. So thank you, Micha, Mijung, and Anna for that. And thank you also to Sabrina Wolter for putting on a climate workshop in Berlin. She reached out over email and said, hey, I know you do climate action workshops in the US. Would you consider doing one in Germany? And I said, I don't know what I would say to a German audience about climate action. I don't know as much about what can be done there, but sure, let's have a workshop. Let's gather people and talk about it. And she got the word out, organized this whole event in Berlin. So we did it on the Monday after my last show. And it was a wonderful gathering of people, really great conversations. And I just felt so moved and grateful that Sabrina put that together. So vielen Dank, Sabrina. Let's see. Another shout out to Jackie, who attended every single show on the German tour with her guide dog Lola, faithfully helping her get where she needed to go, and braving all kinds of adventures like hotel elevators that didn't have Braille, and hotels that were even like closed and only had a note, of course not in Braille, about what to do, taped to the front door. Transit strikes that led her to get off the Deutsche Bahn train and into Flixbuses. And it just felt like this kind of mini miracle every time that we would play a show and I would see her there, and realizing that, wow, Jackie made it. And we made it through the whole tour together, and we have a new nickname for the two of us crisscrossing Germany, having adventures, and it's Chaos Girls, the two of us. So that's the recap of Germany tour. That's probably long enough for a VT log, but I just have a couple of updates. One is we are, I think, slating for We've Got You to be released in early September. So I'm now working frantically backwards from that deadline to put a number of things in place, including an exciting music video collaboration and going back a few steps in the production process to figure out some things that, like, I don't want to settle, I really want this to be exciting, and I think we are finally finding a way through and pulling in a new collaborator to do some exciting stuff and to help steer us in directions that we might not have thought of. So more to come on that. And I'm also plotting something with the wonderful Alex Wong, and this time with his wonderful wife and life partner Leah involved, and bringing all of her amazing skills to bear. And so more to come on something special that he and I are planning and going to be hosting later this year. Let's see what else. I also have a number of US election activities planned. Just like my climate action workshops, my whole MO is, let's do this in a way that welcomes everyone and everyone, and right where they're at, and according to what they're most interested in, what you believe most passionately. And I think we all agree that a healthy and vibrant democracy is important. Voting and showing up for your beliefs and the world you want to see is important. And there's a whole range of ways to do that. And I just want to create lots of opportunities to welcome people into doing that with me. So look out for more about that. They will be at tour stops, they will be online, and I'm getting a lot of help with that too. So fun stuff. That is the news from VT land for now. And I hope that you are doing well. As always, I would love any kind of response to let me know how you're doing. I really do read and try to absorb everything that comes my way in terms of life updates from you. And, oh, one last thing. If anyone has an athletic kid, especially a really young kid, we would welcome tips on how to nurture that, especially if you are not athletic yourselves, because it appears that Arcadia, more than becoming some sort of rock star, is mostly obsessed with the idea of becoming the next American Ninja Warrior. So if anybody has ninjas, young ninjas out there, would love some tips. That's it. Thanks, everyone.